Hey everybody, welcome back to Info Chunks. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Recently, the President of the US, Joe Biden, cancelled his trip to Australia and suspended the Quad meeting. And it is not because of his dementia.
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that,
But it has something to do with the national debt crisis. Well, what is that? Let's find out. First of all, let's understand how a country functions. There are two main sources for a country's expenditure. Number one, taxes, and number two, it's income from normal business activities. And most of the time, these two sources don't match their actual needs. So what do they resort to? Debt. The thing that bankers and lenders love the most, but for people who can't pay it, well, that's a different story. And in this case, the US is a debt-consuming monster. It's the largest debtor in the world. Its GDP itself is at 23 trillion and its debt is around 30 trillion. By the way, it is not unusual for a country to have this much amount of debt. For example, Japan's debt is twice the size of its economy. Okay, so what is this money used for? Well, it's used for running the country for general purposes like paying off government employees, funding the army, financing infrastructure projects, and also for paying off past debt and interest. So they are taking debt to repay debt, something that is dangerous for you and me, but well, they can get away with it. So if the country cannot borrow debt, they can't do all these things. So the country essentially comes to a standstill, and that affects every other country, which is the entire world, that is dependent on it. So we are looking at an economic collapse, a financial collapse, a recession, complete chaos. Well, other than that, it's not a big deal. So is that what's happening now? Well, not exactly. You see, US can borrow more debt, but there is something important called the debt ceiling. In order to avoid a government from borrowing excess money, there is a debt limit that is set by law which they cannot breach. And right now it is at $31.46 trillion. The scary thing is they actually reached it on January 19th of 2023. And till now they have somehow managed to run the economy with taxes and their own reserve income. But they can't go on like this. And based on analysts' opinion, they have time only till June. So is the ceiling that rigid that you can't even break it or suspend it for some time? Well, no. US has faced this situation in the past. For example, during the Obama administration, this ceiling was suspended for some days, and during the Trump administration, the ceiling was increased almost 4 times. So it can be done, but as everything is complicated in politics, this is too. As you know, the Senate is held by the Democratic Party, and the House of Representatives is held by the Republicans. Now, the Democrats want to increase the debt ceiling, but the Republicans also want to, because as much as they disagree with each other, neither of them want to see their country go to hell. So the Republicans have one major condition though. They want the Biden administration to cut down on their outrageous spending. Now, this is not a very outlandish demand because the government has been spending like crazy for the last few years. I mean, on one hand, the Federal Reserve is trying to control inflation by bringing up interest rates, but on the other hand, the government is just spending money which in a nutshell actually causes inflation. So that is counteracting whatever the Federal Reserve is doing, and because of that, the inflation is neither increasing nor decreasing, and it's just staying in a stagnant position, which economically is called stagflation. So that is why the Republicans want them to keep their pockets closed unto themselves. And this has happened before during the Obama times. And Joe Biden is hopeful that both these parties will come to a consensus. The overall feeling and opinion is that the Democrats will cut down on their spending and the Republicans will vote to lift off or at least increase the debt ceiling. And that is what I think is going to happen too. But the time is of the essence here. As I said, the end limit is until June. If they keep delaying the decision, then the markets are going to suffer, the country won't have enough flexibility to meet their expenses, and so on and so forth. So the sooner they do it, the better. That's all from my side. Make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.